I have my big pitch meeting with Netflix coming soon, and I just don't know what to do. How am I gonna get them to accept my show? What kind of comedy do I use? What joke do I tell?
And then he came with his penis.
Oh, hot dog, that's a knee slapper. Man, throw in my impeccable drawings of naked children, and Netflix is gonna be rolling me in that dough. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit everywhere. At least, that's how I imagine Big Mouth was pitched, because that's basically what the entire show is. And I've seen a lot of episodes of Big Mouth, and I will never understand it. I think the fandom is weird when they try to defend it, and I think the show as a concept is also inherently very weird. So when I heard that Doomsday was approaching, I was reasonably sad. I think one of the best days of my life was when Big Mouth was finally canceled. I wasn't gonna have to hear anything about it, and Netflix could move on to making things like Arcane and maybe even reviving Inside Job again. But no. They greenlit Mating Season, a show made by the Big Mouth creators about horny little woodland critters. So instead of watching children be undressed, I get to watch little woodland animals get down and dirty with each other, which is an upgrade. I have to admit that, but I feel like it's gonna be the same thing. They just gave them the same show, and it's just gonna be a raccoon here, being like,
"Oh, give me your raccoon-ussy. Is that a raccoon cock? Ooh, are you having trouble getting laid, brother?"
And it's just gonna be that over and over and over again. So safe to say I'm extremely thrilled and excited to see what innovative stuff they've done with a brand new show, and I'm so excited for the fandom to be like, gee whiz, man, they mentioned sex 32 times in this episode. It just tickles my whiskers. Oh, whoa, whoa. Yeah. So I'm going to be watching as much Mating Season as I could take. If I watch the whole show, then it was really good. If I get past 2 episodes, hot dog, we were lucky to get that. If you like content just like this, please make sure to like and subscribe. I'll make it worth your while. Now let's finally get to Mating Season. You're probably wondering why I have a nasty case of bedhead, and it's because, well, I went to bed. I thought if I just snoozed away all my problems and avoided this review as long as I could, then maybe I would have a deeper understanding of the show, I would feel better about it, and I wouldn't absolutely eviscerate it. But, here we are. I don't feel any better about it. I honestly feel like an elementary school teacher. I asked my entire class how they're doing, and they all say 6, 7, and say how I lost my aura as I stare down at my cyanide capsule. There is nothing good about this show. Genuinely nothing. I'm only 1 episode in, and I already feel like I've watched 10 episodes back to back, and I just want to end it all. I really don't see the appeal. It's brain rotted. Every single joke is extremely fast paced. Every single joke is exactly the same. The audience for the show, if I walked up to the biggest fan, stared them dead in the eye, and was like, penis, they would start bursting out laughing, fall onto the floor, and genuinely cry because of how funny that is. That is what the show is. It's not intelligent, it has nothing interesting to say, and it is a waste of time. And 90% of people who would tell you that they like the show, they would say, Dad, you should just turn your brain off. Just turn your brain off. You're thinking too much while you consume media. Which is always the dumbest argument that you could ever have for a person not liking a show. It's always so unbelievably dumb. But either way, let's get into Mating Season Episode 1. Now, this show opens in probably the most intellectual way that it ever could. Genuinely, the genius is showing here. Patrick, your genius is showing, ooh-wee! As this bear named Josh walks out, and, he just finished hibernating, and he just starts pissing aggressively.
Whoa, 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 man, that first post-hibernation pee, right?
Pissing and moaning because it's just so good, it feels so great, and he is so unbelievably excited about it. I'm just so happy to watch this big old bear named Josh release his tank. And then he walks outside because he can't find Olivia, his mate, and we're just given the beautiful scene, something that is so elegant, something that they just had to try so hard to animate, pouring their hearts into, of 2 raccoons getting down and dirty, jorking their porks together, and just, you know, giving a good old rousing round of intercourse.
This is what we do.
Yeah, don't make it weird, dude.
Yep, it's just 2 raccoons having sex, and that's the joke. That's the entire comedy of it. God, I'm having a great time. And then it pans out into the woods, and every single woodland critter there is also getting down and dirty and having a good old-fashioned sexual time. And that's it. That's the opening to the show. That's how they let you know what you're in for, what to get excited for. It's just going to be animals getting down and dirty with each other. And that's pretty much all it is. It doesn't have anything else to say other than, hey, we find sex really funny because we're in our 40s. And like, when I was in college, I saw a girl's big puffy vagina and I couldn't even like lose my virginity because like, I just thought it was so funny to like stare at a vagina like that. That's a vag. That's pretty much it. So eventually they have this funeral for this deer who got shot by a hunter, and they have thrilling dialogue to couple with their stories, like how Ray, the raccoon, is talking about how this squirrel family got fully molested or something.
Was inexcusable. Of course. I mean, he fully molested those squirrels.
I don't know. We then meet the character Fawn, whose dad is dating a younger deer, and that's a big contention for the episode because her dad is the mom who just died. I don't know. The story really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's so weird. The main story is Josh. He lost his mate, Olivia. Josh is the big bear, and he wants her back. So he sees her with another man, and he approaches, and he's like, hey, you're talking to my woman. What are you doing with my woman? And it turns out that it's a really big bear, like a really huge bear, and he says, oh, that's a big boy, and starts pleading and begging on his knees for his woman to come crawling back. That is not boss energy. That is not big bear boss energy to earn your woman back. It is not going to work. So they're then just all enjoying some drinks and whatnot. And Ray, the raccoon, he sees a skunk and proceeds to say, oh, that stinky angel, as he runs over, and the skunk begins to violently twerk on him.
Yeah, twerk that tail, baby!
Mm-hmm. Cool, I'm having a great time. And then we get one of the most thrilling sequences of writing and dialogue. It's just so good. It just has that level of cringe that makes me so happy. You know, when you want to just sit back in your seat and not know what to do with your life? Well, there's this character, her name is Penelope the fox, and she's not very good at flirting. So she is looking at this butterfly, and yes, she wants to use up a butterfly, and I'm terrified as I watch more of the show. We'll see how far I get, if she's actually going to end up, you know, banging those things with that butterfly, you know, getting down and dirty with the butterfly. If they're going to showcase that in some kind of weird way, but she wants to have sex with a butterfly. And she says, I need a shower. I need a girlfriend. I am gay.
Sure, I need everything. I need a shower. I need a hug. I need a girlfriend. I'm gay.
Oh, the power, the passion. Dear Lord, if somebody came out that way to me, I would just stand up and start clapping. You need a shower, a girlfriend, and you're a homosexual. Oh, wow. God, I love the writing of the show. It makes me feel so beautiful. So she wants to ask you out the butterfly. We got a couple good plot lines running here. Gee whiz, I'm excited. But then it just all collapses with stuff that doesn't need to happen. None of this needed to happen. And it makes me wonder, why? Why would you give these people a show where Ray the raccoon and the skunk, they go back to Ray's place to get down and dirty with each other, to have a good old rousing round of mating, and they are getting down and dirty all right, with Ray, you know, getting all up in that and falling backwards and saying to the skunk, oh yes, express your anal gland all over my pelt, as she sprays all over him. That is something that I never thought I would see. That is something that I never wanted to see. Who is this show for? Who is it for? Is it for the furry community? Because I feel like even the furries wouldn't enjoy this, but hey, I don't know, maybe they're in heaven right now. Maybe they are. I can't relate. I just watched a raccoon get sprayed over during a rousing round of mating, and it just got worse. The intellect for the show just keeps on dropping to where they are getting down and dirty with each other, and they finish, but Ray can't take the tip of his penis out of the skunk. It's stuck in there. Because it's swollen.
Swollen, and my vagina muscles are like tightened up.
Right.
So for the rest of the episode, they're stuck with their asses facing each other because it's swollen inside. That is what you thought of for your pilot first episode. That was one of the biggest plot points of it. It baffles me. It makes me wonder. So many things. Nick Kroll, Andrew, whatever. Why would you guys do this? I would honestly love to have a conversation with these guys and have them describe like their favorite joke to me, because in my mind, they would just say penis, because it's so unbelievably stupid in every way. I can't believe it. So we then cut back to Josh the bear, and he is trying to become a more serious bear so that he can stay with his woman. And Ray is trying to teach him how to fight, and we get some more thrilling dialogue. One of the best sentences that I've ever heard, with him being attached to the skunk. He says, can we hurry this up a little bit? I keep pooping in her butt.
I keep pooping into her butt.
Which I do not care for.
Pooping in her butt. Yeah. Yeah. They have their butts facing each other, so the entire time they're just like pooping, and it just goes like this. And I don't know, it's just such a horrifying visual. Man, this might take the cake for the worst show I've ever seen. Like, genuinely, like, there's not a lot of things that could top like Paradise PD or that Total Dramarama episode, but this is just so god awful. So yeah, the bear and the raccoon fight to try to teach the bear how to beat that bigger bear into an oblivion. And so now there's that fawn I was talking about, that lady deer who lost her mom. She gets in love with this older deer, and they start pounding each other in the forest. And then her dad walks in and is like, "What are you doing?" and calls her daughter a slut. And she's like, "Oh, Dad, no!" And then the two deer men, they want to fight, and they charge each other, but they're old deers, so their ankles break. Aw, dog, that's a knee slapper right there. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. So then the big climax of the episode is that Josh the bear, he learned how to fight like a raccoon, so he goes to fight that big alpha male bear, and he's all like, I don't know, pulling like a Bully Maguire move, and he throws some dirt in his eye, and then he bites off his penis. Yep. And then the big alpha male bear dies, and so, yep, he's dead, and now everybody hates Josh, and he starts giving like a big cringe like speech at the funeral about how it's not really his fault and he was just doing it for love. And then all the other animals that he's friends with start saying it's scary to be alone, we're alone, but we love each other, oh yeah. That's pretty much the end of the first mating season episode. And forgive me if I'm not the best descriptor of this, it's all a little bit blurry in a sense, because it truly is one of the worst things that I've ever seen. Every single joke was either just purely disgusting or purely shock value. There was never anything more than 2 seconds of thought put into it. Genuinely, like, it's just one of the most uncomedic things I've ever seen. The only thing comedy-wise that they were doing that was interesting was maybe a couple of puns about the fact that they're animals, but that's not really gonna save your show when, you know, I have to watch a raccoon get anal glands expressed all over him and he likes it. That's just not my cup of tea. Not really something I ever wanted to see, and it makes me feel awful in a lot of ways. So if I was to rate this show, or this episode at least, 1 to 10, I would give it a 1 out of 10. There was nothing good about this. There was too many plot points. They all sucked, and all the comedy was unbelievably ass. So yeah, One of the worst things I've ever seen. Let's head on to another episode, shall we? Taking a look at episode 2, this episode doesn't really get any better. It starts off with a cold open with thrilling comedy of showcasing how different animals around the world like to mate, and they start off with a bird. And what is the thrilling comedy and jokes that they use to showcase how funny it is that birds do really silly dances to attract their mates? What awesome dialogue did they have for this scene? Well, the bird stares at the girl and is like, haha, do you like my dance? I'm horny.
Hey, look at me! I'm a big face. Are you horny yet?
That's a knee slapper right there. Ooh, hot dog. And then I get to watch as a hippo comes out of the water as the narrator's like, and now the hippopotamus comes out of the water and begins to violently shit and spray his shit everywhere. All over the woman.
Oh my god, this is like a fairy tale.
And they showcase that beautifully as I get to a nice, beautiful visual of a male hippo just pooping everywhere all over a woman hippo. Yippee! Gosh, I am laughing so much. I have never felt this much joy in my life. Gee whiz. So we then cut to Josh, Ray, Fawn, Penelope, all of them at the bar. And Josh is talking about how pathetic he is, and they're telling him to avoid dating sites, but Ray's saying dating sites are good, so we get that convo going on. And something I just have to notice is they try to do like the most pathetic puns for every single instance that doesn't really add to the episode, because half of the episode is about disgusting body nonsense, and the other half is animal puns. But when you do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again and not actually tell an intelligent joke, it's kind of a waste. Like Penelope, she's talking about how she wants to go to a lesbian bar, so an owl shows up. And what do you think this owl says? What do you think he says that's so riveting and hilarious? He looks at her dead in the eye and says, I'll come to the bar with ya. I'm an owl. Lie.
Lesbians love me. I'm an owl.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Ah, gee whiz. And then just following that up was another great, incredible pun as Josh and Ray are looking for woman to date, and there's an anteater, and Ray says, oh, you don't want to date her. She is clearly doing drugs, and she throws some ants on a table, slurps them up with her big old anteater nose, and says, oh, that's some good ant.
I have a drug problem.
Now that's some good ant.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. I feel like I'm genuinely losing my mind. This might be, like, not in terms of, like, drawing naked children bad, but in terms of, like, everything else, this might actually be worse than Big Mouth, and that is saying something. This is just so garbage. So we then cut to Fawn and Penelope at the lesbian bar, and she says something so riveting. Oh Lord, I'm just so excited. Oh gosh, where she stares at a pig and is like, that's one smoking hot piece of bacon. Oh man, we just keep rolling with it. We keep rolling with it. And so they get invited to go foraging with the pig and her friends, and then we cut back to Josh and Ray the next day, and they are looking at all the different dating sites, and they're really not that innovative. I don't really care about anything going on, and they eventually decide to stop at the piss one. Yes, where animals just release the tank all over a tree, piss it up, and then you walk up to it, go, oh, and that's how you find your date. And is this supposed to make it more fun to watch because it's animals? Because if I was watching a human do this, I would find it disgusting, and even though it's just a bear doing it, I don't find it any less disgusting because they're humanoid creatures in the way that they're like anthropomorphic and can talk. So I'm just watching a intellectual being walk up to a tree stump and just, ooh, is this gonna be the right woman for me? And it's just not enjoyable in the slightest. It just has so many problems. And so we then cut back to our foraging group, and they all are taking a liking to Fawn the deer over Penelope, and we get this thrilling, riveting scene where they're just staring at Fawn's ass in the forest.
So jealous of a clump of dirt.
Am I doing it right?
And I guarantee you the animators had so much fun where they were like,
Ooh, look at this deer ass, bro. Oh my god, we're making such a good show right now.
and everybody started clapping, standing up on the table, just, you know, cheering everybody else on for the brilliant creativity that they were having while creating this show. It is something to truly be a wonder. And Penelope gets jealous of her because she wants all the lesbian attention and Fawn isn't even a lesbian. So she yells at her and then Penelope has to run away and leave. At the same time, Josh is going on a date with this wolf girl, but she's really into bear play and says for him to break her open like a jar of honey. He doesn't like that one bit. And so he leaves. And then we get this thrilling scene with Ray, who apparently sold this girl's underwear, and because the girl is going to come back to get her underwear, he has to try to find them again. And he goes out in the forest and finds this guy named Crazy Dave, and Crazy Dave is apparently wearing the underwear. And that's so hilarious. I'm having such a hilarious, funny time where he's wearing the underwear. It shows his big old ox booty. He walks inside, grabs some really hot soup, and pours it all over his pelvic region and says, "Ooh, I like the burn."
Time for some beef barley. That hurts just right.
Yay. I don't really have anything else to say about this episode. It ends with Josh talking to another bear about his problems, and he realizes that he needs to focus on himself for a little bit, and that's pretty much it. I have nothing else to say about it. There was nothing good in this episode. I didn't care about the side plot with Penelope and Fawn trying to be lesbian and it not working, and that's it. I didn't care for Josh's exploration of a wolf woman, and that didn't work out. I didn't care about Ray's side plot with a woman's underwear. Just none of it matters. None of it is important. They tell the worst jokes followed up by even worse puns, and I still don't know who this is for. I can't imagine anybody being proud of this. If you were an animator on this show and you need help, just ask. I'll help you. I'll get you out of there. I'll save your life. You just need to ask. You need to find a way to reach out. I'm sorry that this is for your paycheck. I truly am. If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I'd probably give it like a 2 out of 10. It's better than the first episode, but that's not saying much. Taking a look at episode 3, this episode felt like it had a lot more potential than the other ones because they actually talk about things that for this show would be really interesting, but they just kind of do it with a passive joke and they never actually lean into that aspect, which kind of makes it feel a little bit lame. The episode opens with Josh being at home with his parents, and his parents start getting freaky and having, you know, freaky deaky time with each other, so that's great. Once again, I get to listen to animals getting down and dirty. Nothing better than that. And Ray, the raccoon, is dating a bunny in this episode, and he is struggling to keep it up, so we get a thrilling scene in which he's staring at his little pecker, begging and pleading for it to get back up, keep on working, keep on striving on, and pounding that bun.
Me, you little shit. I feed you, I bathe you, I give you a home, and now I need you to fill up with blood and become turgid. Ah!
So that's something I didn't know that I needed to see in my life. A little trash panda begging his penis for more. That's great. And there's a lot of different plot lines going on in this episode. You have Penelope, where something bad happened in Canada with a beagle. You have Fawn, who is dating this moose, but the moose can't get excited, and so she has to go with the moose to fight another moose, and the two mooses are fighting, and their big bulging muscles are bulging everywhere, and then they realize that, oh, yes, we're gay! And they're gay mooses, and they don't want to do anything but be gay, so the fawn is left alone. That's pretty much it. And then Ray, he wants to steal some of Josh's parents' horny goat weed so that he could keep up his pecker and keep on using it. So we get a scene where they're stealing it, and Josh's dad is all like, I'm gonna role play as a human, and he starts going, oh yes, keep using me while I send that email.
Dog sign.
I'm gonna send an email.
And they talk about some things that would be interesting. Like there's a throwaway joke about how some humans dress up like furries. And wouldn't that actually be a good episode for a show like this? Having woodland critters that are intelligent beings see what humans do when they dress up like them would be a funny plotline. Not just a stupid throwaway joke. Do something unique. Do something fun other than just, haha, let's have the animals all rail each other. Yeah, that'll be great. It's just, it feels like there's so much more potential instead of just having two bears get down and dirty and say, oh yes, oh, what's the Wi-Fi password? Tell me it! As he busts, that's just not that entertaining for me. Eventually Ray, he takes a bunch of the horny goat weed and he dies on top of the bunny.
Ray?
And goes to like a near-death experience where he's talking to the goat god, and the goat god's all like, oh yes, Viagra, yes, 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 Viagra, Viagra, Viagra. And he says that Ray doesn't need that because he's a thrusting, beautiful raccoon who shouldn't rely on sex products. And that's all I want to talk about for this episode. I pretty much reached my limit of this garbage. I don't think I could do any more. I'm losing all the passion I have for this because, oh my god, this might truly take the cake as the worst show that I've ever seen. 1 out of 10. So there you have it. That's a small look into the brand new show Mating Season. Now, the main reason that I hate this so unbelievably much, other than the fact that it's disgusting, brain rotted, has nothing to say, all three of those are just amplifying it a lot, but the main reason I hate this is shows like this take away from actual passion projects, which I could tell you, Mating Season is not a passion project. It is literally made for a guy who just goes, vagina. It's not made by people who want to make something intelligent, who want to make something that's fun, unique, and creative, like shows that were canceled, like Inside Job. BoJack Horseman was supposed to have a couple more seasons. Arcane could have gotten more money. A bunch of really good Netflix shows, especially animation-wise, that could have gotten more love, but they got less of a budget so that they could keep on making shows like this. And I think that is awful. So, my recommendation, if you don't want shows like this to continue, don't watch this. Don't even hate watch it. I don't recommend it. It's not good. And if you think it's good, I don't know why. And I never will. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.